I pledge to stay drug-free.
I plan to stay drug-free.
I pledge to stay drug-free.
I pledge to be drug-free.
I pledge to stay drug-free.
And thank you. I want to welcome you to Expose Under the Sun, sponsored by the Detroit Native Sun newspaper. I'm your host, Darwin Griffin, and I am very pleased to have two very special guests on the show today. And they're going to be talking about one of the organizations that's near and dear to my heart, A. Philip Randolph Institute. So before we get to my special guests, I just want to go and tell you that if you'd like to call in and join in on the conversation, our calling numbers are area code 313-868-0342, 313-868-0351, or 313-868-4336. And our website is www.tv33whpr.com. And you are watching us live in the awesome city of Highland Park, Michigan, under the auspices of the Honorable Mayor Hubert Yap. And I just want to thank Henry Tyler and R.J. Watkins for allowing us to have this half an hour that we can speak and be able to go and give you some good information. But I just wanted to say before we get started, I do want to thank Ms. Claudrine Jackson. The 25th of February is my birthday, and I do want to thank her. She presented me with a birthday present of her new book that she wrote called The Butterfly. So if you haven't seen or you haven't had an opportunity to get this book, please get this book. It's a lot of poems and more that Ms. Claudrine Jackson has written. So I do want to tell Ms. Jackson again my deepest appreciation for giving me this book for my birthday. So again, I do want to let everybody know today is election day. People are voting in the polling precincts for the presidential candidates. And one thing I want to imply to everybody is don't think that this is the end. There is another date that you are going to be voting for the president of the United States in November. So make sure you go to the polls, not just today, and vote your choice, vote your conscience, vote your heart. And we're not trying to go and tell you who to vote for. The main thing we're trying to tell you is to go out and vote. If you don't, you lose your voice, you lose your power, and you also may jeopardize your future as well as your children's and their children's future as well. So imperative, if you haven't gotten out to vote, make sure you go out to vote. I was going to put my little I voted sticker on, but I can't leave the camera and go off and get that right now. But I did vote. So again, I do want to encourage everyone to make certain that you do go out and vote. And also, if you did vote absentee and your ballot may be invalidated, you can also get another ballot and you can vote again. So I want to make sure and also let people know, if you are returning citizens, make sure that you exercise your right, because you still can vote. Unless you are incarcerated, then you cannot. But if you are waiting to be sentenced, or if you are on parole or on probation, yes, you still have the privilege of being able to get out and vote. So definitely I want to encourage everybody to go out and vote. This has been a nice day, a little bit of drizzle, but sometimes, people look for excuses to not get out and vote. But this is a day that hopefully everybody will get out, exercise their choice, and encourage and convince other people. Make sure that you go out and vote as well. But today, I am very blessed and very honored to have two special guests on the show. I kind of teased this one young lady. We kind of have a little thing with Trekkies, so we kind of laugh and joke a little bit. She's Captain Kirk, and I've been given several names, but I think now my nom de plume is Lieutenant Sulu. So I just want to say that I'm very blessed to have Miss Andrea Hunter, and she is the president of the Detroit Downriver chapter of A. Philip Randolph Institute. Madam President, great to have you on the show today.
Thank you for having me here.
And we are also blessed to have this young man. This is one of our youth ambassadors for A. Philip Randolph Institute. And ladies, I know I can see you now. You're probably seeing this young man and you're probably getting all excited. Look at him with his good-looking beard and all that. So just looking sharp. So I know he'll probably be a fashion model probably in the upcoming years. But this is Mr. Kelvin Blakes. So Mr. Blakes, I appreciate you coming on the show today as well.
It is a pleasure to be here.
You know, listen to him. He's so articulate. You hear that?
Wayne State graduating in the year.
He's going to be graduating from Wayne State University, our own. What's your major?
My major is psychology with a minor in African American studies. So,
What made you go into that major?
well, initially, I began to take on the role of becoming a listener. I am a natural born listener, so sometimes people just want to be heard, and that is something that I enjoy, being that comfort, that soundboard. So that was something that spoke to me, and I wanted to help people. So
Okay. So now, what do you want to do? So you say you want to help people. So after you graduate and get your degree, what do you want to do with it?
well, initially I wanted to open up my own private practice as a therapist. But now I am looking for other options as a counselor, maybe going to social work. I just know that I want to help people.
Okay, so now, before we get to Andrea to tell a little bit more about A. Philip Randolph Institute, you are a youth ambassador?
Yes.
And you've gone to some of the conventions?
Yes.
Tell, what was it like? What were some of your experiences going to some of the conventions? And how many conventions that you've been to?
Well, I started off when I was 17. So my first experience going to a national conference, it was eye-opening.
Where was it at?
That was in, I believe, Savannah, Georgia.
Oh, I was down there with you. Okay.
Yes. And just to be in a room with other people like me who have a variety of different experiences, listening to them about the issues of police brutality, and it was just, it made me want to be more and do more within my community. So.
Okay. So now, you're going to be receiving an award, if I'm understanding, next month. Is that correct?
Yes.
What
yes.
type of award are you going to be receiving?
I am going to be receiving a reward that basically says you've gone beyond and above. And personally, I feel like there's always more work to be done, but I will accept this award. So.
Okay. Anybody in particular that may have who inspires you? What motivates you? What gives you that inspiration when you get up and get out and do some of the things that you do in the community, or when you think about your future and what you want to do when you graduate from Wayne State? What motivates you? Who motivates you?
Well, there are multiple people. I look through my studies. I have noticed that there were people like Marcus Garvey, people like A. Philip Randolph. These people set up a foundation for us to become better, to do more, to fight for the rights that we deserve. And I feel like it is my responsibility as an African American to uphold that and to make a better tomorrow. so to speak.
So to speak. Okay. All right. Well, let's segue into, that's good when you said that about A. Philip Randolph Institute. So now, Andrea Hunter, you are the president of the Detroit John River chapter of A. Philip Randolph Institute. Tell a little bit about the chapter and who A. Philip Randolph was.
Well, our chapter began in 2012. For fact, June 30th of 2012. There's numerous chapters across the country. A. Philip Randolph Institute was created in 1965, and it was in direct relation to the passing of the Voter Rights Act of 1965. In regards to making sure that there was an instituted entity to make sure that even the law got passed for equality of voting rights across board, somebody remained there to make sure that those voter rights stayed intact. So we always have to have somebody guarding it. Like this is the 100-year anniversary of the 19th Amendment for women to get the right to vote, and that created the League of Women Voters. They've been around for 100 years to make sure that women have that right. So every time we have an act or an entity, we need to keep people there around for, to make sure to incite that these laws that were fought for do not disintegrate or go away altogether. So that's why A. Philip Randolph Institute was created. As anyone know, A. Philip Randolph is different type of categories, but A. Philip Randolph is considered a labor leader because he believes, like I do, that you gotta give people with any type of rights they want to fight for, health care, home, maybe for education, whatever. They don't care to engage in that if they don't have their basic fundamentals of food and shelter. And food and shelter goes along with jobs. So, and the thing that people think, even though he's an Afro-American based leader, he was very inclusive. In my classes I teach at Wayne State Labor University and U of M Labor, I always bring the 1963 program from that March on Washington. And there you see people spoke of various religions, races, and people don't realize women spoke too. We educate our children to believe that I Have a Dream speech was the only, or Dr. King's speech. For a fact, he was the very last one to speak before, there was a choir. If you look at the program. So it's various speakers that day, and that's something we need to educate our children in and understand that it was, if the title of that program said Jobs and Freedom. Jobs is something, it doesn't matter what walk of life you have, that you are inclusive. That's how we build coalitions. Coalitions are built because everyone has a like-minded subject. And jobs is one thing we all have to understand. Because I teach to everybody, the powers that be, the only thing they do is they try to do things to divide us. They divide us on social issues. They divide us on race. They divide us on religion. So we're so busy arguing amongst each other at the bottom, we're not collectively getting each other to understand the things that we deserve. So that's one of the reasons why I'm very involved with A. Philip Randolph. And as a president of Local 1299 Steelworkers and a labor person, now we got to understand that if the community does not support us in our different, as we see proposals that's on ballots, like I said, there's different things, then how can we collectively ensure everyone has equality on the workplace floor? So that's all needed.
You're the president of, say that again?
I'm also the president of United Steelworkers Local 1299.
Now, are you the first woman president?
You're just going to put that in there. I'm the first woman and first African American, yes.
Well, you gotta say that.
Congratulations. I thank you, but my point is that I'm a steel worker, and that's why I got elected. I just want to say I'm a steel worker, not for any first or whatever. It just happened to be there, but I'm a steel worker. Very proud, 25-year steel worker.
And I know all of your people that have voted you in are very proud of the work that you've been doing.
Well, every day we fight to make sure that happens.
Now, tell a little bit about, I've been a proud member of A. Philip Randolph for about the last 5 years. Tell, who was A. Philip Randolph?
A. Philip Randolph, at one time in this country, was designated by the FBI as the most dangerous African American in America. This is a man that, if you are a person of color in the military, you have to thank him. This is a man who started the first union, sleeping car porters for predominantly African Americans. This is a man who stood behind the scenes along with Bayard Rustin and let a young Dr. King flourish. Many might not understand that I'm not taking anything away from the great doctor. He sacrificed his ultimate thing, his life. However, he was articulated and nice looking, and like I tell my people about marketing. He could market, but those men behind the scenes, he was only 23 years old with the Alabama boycotts. Okay, that was Bayard Rustin. Bayard Rustin brought peaceful protests over from Gandhi. He brought it over here. He was organizers. A. Philip Randolph was the type of person whose picture was beyond him. He was not an egotistical person. He brought up Bayard Rustin, who later in turn brought up Dr. King, who later in turn brought up John Lewis. We always try to reach one, teach one. And Bayard understood that working with a man like A. Philip Randolph, and I always call him the untouchable, like Elliot Ness, you couldn't, A. Philip Randolph was untouchable in his principles, in his vision of every worker having an equal opportunity to catch that American dream, for every worker to have dignity on the floor in the workplace, for every worker, regardless to where they come from or what color of their skin or who they worship, had a right to provide for their family. We owe a great deal to A. Philip Randolph, and people don't understand as far as when he went, I always liked one of the stories that Eleanor Roosevelt, that he tells in his book, when he supported Roosevelt to become president on the grounds, and one of the major things was desegregating the military. He promised, that he would do it. When he got in office, it didn't come up months later. So he always brags that he went to the real president of the United States. He sat down with Eleanor Roosevelt. And Eleanor Roosevelt got him, Asa in there to talk to the president, and the president told me, he said, he went on, hey, you promised to desegregate the military, all this. And the president looked at him and said, make me do it. He said, what you mean? He said, those Dixiecrats is not going to vote for this. Make me do it. So A. Philip Randolph gathered the people to have, they was going to do the first March on Washington. But after that, so that way Franklin can go to the Congress and say, hey, he's going to do this. So they made him talk. So he did an executive order. The executive order desegregated the military. Defense agencies. Then he had to go back, segregate military. Then he had to work on, because even though they desegregated the military, people of color were still not making the same rate of pay if you were a captain or a private. So he had to go back and do that. So, and most of us people of color understand the military was the predominant way to go into something and get education free. You had to sacrifice your life to get education free, like most of us, but we didn't have that opportunity until A. Philip Randolph. Equal opportunity.
Okay.
So the things he did, he's a very great man.
So now there's an event coming up next month on April 25th. Talk about that event.
April 25th will be our 5th annual fundraiser dinner. It will be at UAW Local 600. There we will also have the privilege of Representative Rashida Tlaib as our keynote speaker. What we do with those dollars that we raise is we feed the less fortunate, because a lot of people don't understand. A lot of people are working and they still can't afford food after paying their utilities and travel. We also take those dollars and educate people on civics, because we're really finding out it's very heartbreaking that civics has really been taken out of the public schools here. I know in Detroit. And people, if you don't know basic civics, if you don't know the fundamentals of what the House of Representatives do, what the Senate does, the protocol of government, it's kind of hard to be engaged in something you know nothing about. So those dollars go, and we do have a program where we're working on people who are going back into the workforce. Because I was so horrible to find out that there's a lot of kids in foster care, they're given a check and told them to go back in the world. So who's going to help them have skills to get their first, job skills that most of us have, and off clothes to go on interviews and stuff. So a lot of these dollars go to help them too. So people going back into the workforce, even people who have been rehabilitated from correction facilities, because that's how you keep crime down, when people working.
Okay. Now, tell now about where the event is going to take place at, the time, what the ticket price is, and who some of the other honorees may be.
Okay, so the ticket prices are $50 plus, but we have, of course, sponsors packages. You can go on our website, www.aprdetroitdownriver.org. There you can purchase tickets. You can fill the application to join our chapter. There also, you can, it's different things there. You can purchase different items, which goes towards our endeavors too. But there we have the honorees. What we do, every year, we honor people who gave back into the community on their personal time. This is not people who get paid to do this. This are people who, the most valuable thing you have is your time, and they have gave it. So there's 3 honorees this year. Will be Michael Aaron from Labor's Local 1191, Sister Kay Howland from Southeast Jobs for Justice, my girl, cohort, Alicia Dennis from Unite Way, via utility workers. Those will be our 3 awardees in the community. I also give a presidential award. That's for 2 members who I believe have went above beyond call of duty and volunteering for their year, and that'll be Lisa Wilkes from UAW 1248 and Joyce Dallas. Okay, she's from League of Women Voters. She's also part of our distinguished chapter. We have youth awards. Those will go to Kelvin Blakes this year, right here, and Kari Hunter from MSU, and my brother right here from Wayne State University. They volunteer. He's on, like I'm on my vacation this week here. He is on spring break. He's not down there where everybody is partying. He's out here with me going poll watching for Michigan Voices. Today when we leave here, we started this morning. So yes, we understand that our funds are needed, people understand, for literature. We help our youth when they want to pay, they do different things and they need school books. People don't understand it's just as laptops. Some kids are going to college without even a laptop, which they all need. So this is what these funds do and help our community.
Okay. Only thing you didn't give, where's it going to be at?
I thought I said that earlier. UAW, Local 600 in the prestigious 13th District strong here in Dearborn, Michigan, 10550 Dix in Dearborn, Michigan.
Okay.
And that'll be April the 25th, Saturday, April 25th, from 5 to midnight.
Okay. So there will be dinner, and then there will be some dancing is after the awards are given out as well.
Yes,
too.
of course.
Okay. All right. Kelvin, tell now, you're going to be receiving this award, right?
Yes.
So give your 30-second spiel about why young people should be involved with Detroit Downriver APRI.
Well, I find that it is just important for everybody to get involved in the community that they live in. If you live in any community across America, you need to be involved. Because the things that are happening as far as the government is concerned, it affects you. So if you can't get involved, then you have no voice. And nobody wants to not have a voice. So.
Because if you lose that voice, you lose your power.
Right.
Okay, and primarily the thing is that Andrea, tell basically that here right now, with trying to get people to keep being engaged, how would give your 30-second spiel for what you would say? I asked Kelvin about getting young people in to get others to be involved.
For one, we have to educate them on the government and its protocol, like I said, on civics. But to get involved, because this is a direct, just like Walter Reuther said, relationship from the bread box to the ballot box. Things you have today, you can lose tomorrow with a signature of a pen. We see things turned over every day. Things that we fought for, we thought was set, we look back, they're taken away. Right here in Michigan, we have, I have a bad issue with, what's going on in our plant now because of business decisions that was not our fault. But legislatively, we used to have 20 weeks of unemployment. Now 26 weeks, now we got 20. Okay, it's right now, right there is in committee, a bill to make that, bill to make that add to 6 weeks back. Okay, but we got to get that bill passed. It's just sitting in committee. So that's why I think it's important, is because it's economics to affect you and your family. Everybody understand that one thing we all want to do is eat and have shelter.
Mm-hmm. Well, okay, so now we've got a few minutes left. Give the contact information if somebody wants to join the chapter or if they want to get more information about the fundraiser. What's the information that you would give?
Please visit our website at www.APRI-DetroitDownriver.org. There you can get on our website, see the things we do. You could make donations. You could join our chapter. There are tickets available there for our fundraiser dinner. So that's how you get in. We will hope everybody, as long as they have our bylaws, and our bylaws basically state to work in the community, respect one another, and make sure that we reach out, because we are our brothers and sisters keeper, regardless to what we think we are.
Well, I do want to thank both of you for being on the show today.
Thank you.
And I do want to go and express that if you would like to get a copy of the Detroit Native Sun newspaper, you can contact Ms. Valerie Lockhart at area code 313-457-5944, and you can pick up a copy of the Detroit Native Sun newspaper at your local Kroger supermarkets. But again, Kelvin, I'll let you take us out. So primarily, what's the one word, Kelvin, that you would give today for all of our listening and viewers for this show?
Vote.
Good word. Good word. That's a great word for today. Make sure, exercise your ability, exercise your power, exercise your voice, and get out and vote. Again, this is Darwin Griffin. I just want to thank everybody for tuning in, and be careful, because make certain that you stay very conscious of this coronavirus, because right now it's very, very powerful. So you want to take every precaution that you can. But again, peace. Tell somebody you love them. We'll see you next week. Same time, same station.